Okay, Collision. Now, I want to make this clear. You see the title, and it's going to be about the death match. If you compare the death match to the rest of the show, what we got is building to Wrestle Dream, but nothing generally else beyond that. So, what do we get for this show? We got an okay show without the death match. Let's make this clear. The death match was a very good match. I'll be talking about it in a minute. But if you take away the death match, this was a middle of the road show in the sense that they're building to the pay-per-view, but nothing beyond it. Nothing beyond it. And I'm telling you right now, it doesn't feel like Beyond Wrestle Dream really has anything going at all. And Wrestle Dream is not like the be-all, end-all pay-per-view. It's a brand new pay-per-view. So it does not feel like they're doing anything beyond. Now, let's get to the 2-on-1 handicap match, which was a three-way dance for the TNT title. Darby Allin, Luchasaurus, and Christian Cage. I want to make this clear. This was a long time coming. Luchasaurus needed to lose the title. And in this match, he finally did. And here's the kicker. It was a decent match. Luchasaurus was mostly doing more of the work than Christian, of course. But when we saw Luchasaurus, because Christian tried to use the TNT title to nail Darby Allin in the face, it did not work out very well. The title was in the ring. And for the first time since he won the damn title, Luchasaurus picked it up and looked at it. And everyone is screaming, "That's your belt." Everyone is begging him to basically acknowledge himself. Like with a Roman Reigns. Acknowledge me. I have to do it like that. Sorry if it was too loud. Pretty much, they wanted him to do a Roman Reigns and acknowledge himself. But Christian saying, "Give me the damn title," which he does. And in the end, after Darby nails a Luchasaurus, instead of Darby getting the pin, Luchasaurus gets pinned by Christian. So now Christian has the title. But, I want to make this clear, but for me personally, everyone else will probably say, yeah, it was fine. He needed to win the title, and I generally do agree. Since he's been acting like it, the champion, he needed to hold the title. Eventually had to win it from Luchasaurus. I'm not saying that's the wisest thing to do. But I understand they did it. But as a guy who loves Luchasaurus, who sees money in Luchasaurus, who knows he's never been booked at all for himself. He's been muscle for who? For Christian, for Jungle Boy, for Marco Stunt. He's helped everyone else except him. He's never gotten anywhere. And even when he did the heel turn, it was about Jungle Boy. So I understand they felt it was time to pull the trigger and give the title to Christian. It hurts me personally because they've done nothing. And if anybody says, "What do you mean by nothing?" I will tell you in the comment again. You know who you are. Look at this video and stop acting like you don't understand me. Luchasaurus has been around the company since the beginning. He has never been pushed. Only time he's been pushed was to promote a storyline with Jungle Boy. It was about him, not Luchasaurus. So Luchasaurus, who hopefully will finally get a face turn and finally go after Christian to go after the title, that would be the be-all, end-all. That would make the most sense. But do I believe they're going there? No, but I hope they go there. Let's move on. Hook and RVD versus the Cool Hands of Daddy Magic Menard and the Parker, the Parker brother, the one that will make your day. Along with Hager and Julia and not Julia, but Anna Jay. I almost forgot. I got Julia and Anna Jay mixed up. I don't know why. Maybe because they kind of feel like an afterthought until what happened with Julia later, because they kind of feel like an afterthought for both teams. But what did we get here? We got something that was nostalgic because everyone was loving RVD working and they said he still got it, which he does. He's my age. He's 52. But here's the sad thing. This is a sad thing with Hook. And I'm not saying that he shouldn't still be FTW champion. Right now they got nothing for him to do, so holding on to the title is fine for now. But tell me, wouldn't you have been really happy to see not RVD, but Taz get in the ring with his son once? Once I would love to see him in the ring with his son, but because of his badly damaged neck, he is retired. He will never go in the ring again. And that's the saddest thing, that Taz, one of the most known staples of ECW and WWF/WWE, can't wrestle anymore. And his own son, who he's happy to be calling commentary for, I'm sure he's chomping at the bit. He wishes he could at least go in the ring maybe one more time and just wrestle with his son once. Once! Because that is the be-all, end-all for all fathers who are pro wrestlers whose sons are still young and old enough, and they're still young enough that they're just within the bracket where the father is not too old and the son is not that young, and they can work together. At least one match. One. But that's just me. Of course, you got the faces winning because of RVD destroying, I believe it was Parker. But he looked great while doing it. Let's move on to the match where I'm like, really? I thought she was gone. Kiera Hogan versus Julia Hart. Now, what I understand, because I did not see Rampage, and it was yesterday, Willow Nightingale got sprayed in the face with mist from Julia, green mist. So Hogan decided, that's my girl, I'm going to fight for her. And she went in the ring with her. I'm going to tell you this. Ever since Kiera Hogan was in there, she did nothing. I am telling you right now, if anyone is a Kiera Hogan fan, like I am, I still love the girl. Miss Hottie from Hotlanta, they've done nothing with her. When Jade Cargill had the baddies, my greatest hope was while Jade was there, they would elevate two other women with her. And they did nothing to elevate a Red Velvet who already got over on her own while working with Jade and fighting against her. Kiera Hogan and Laura Gray got nothing. They never got anywhere. They never pushed them. They never did anything with them. And yes, when Kiera Hogan finally broke away, you would think they'd do something more with her. No. Unless she's doing something on OH, she's doing nothing. And I feel sorry for her. And it makes me wish she can go back to Impact Wrestling. Because, generally speaking, what is she going to be doing here, what she couldn't do at Impact, where maybe she would get a little more shine? Maybe. I don't know. In the end, what did we get? We got a submission from Julia Hart on Hogan. And then, what did we get? Another submission after the match is over on Hogan. And Sky Blue comes out to try and help Hogan. And she gets sprayed in the face as well. And it's a green-ass miss. It's a deep green. And you get a Brody King talking for... This was actually good. This was actually good. You see Brody King talking for Julia Hart, saying that we're going to keep doing this until finally Statlander responds. It's Wrestle Dream, you, Julia Hart, for that damn title, or we will continue our rampage, which Julia Hart will keep spraying people in the face and nailing them. That's what he was saying. I will tell you, is it done well? At least that segment, it was fine. Seeing that they're doing a miss with Julia Hart, seeing that she's got a submission of her own, seeing that she still is like the spokesperson for the House of Black, which now does not, from what I understand, have Malachi Black anymore. He's gone. Malachi is no longer with the company. From what was reported, his contract is done and he's not supposedly there. Now, I could be wrong, but that is what I've been found out through a rumor or through at least one site said that he's no longer with AEW. His contract is done. He was released. He's gone. So I don't know what's going on with him. But you guys tell me below what you think. And I know one guy who likes to write an entire sonnet. I'm just joking, guys. Yo, understand, as a dyslexic, sometimes it can be hard to read a lot of that because that's just me, and I'm not telling you to stop. I'm glad to keep trying to work on my reading comprehension as a dyslexic, but I'm not going to say it's easy. But when you see it, I have no problem you telling me how you feel. Tell me how you feel. If I'm right, Malachi is gone. He's gone. Not Aleister Black. He may go back to WWE and become Aleister Black. But not knowing what might happen to Zelina Vega in LWO, it would be stupid for him to go back. I'm just saying right now, if his wife, Zelina Vega, is working with LWO, she might be safe, maybe. But if Malachi, former Aleister Black from WWE, goes back, he may just go in for a couple of months and then his wife might be fired like he was. I hope he does not do that. I'm moving on. Jay White versus Andrade El Idolo. Now, Jay won due to the fact he had help. And at one point, it was Juice Robinson who was saying we need to respect the Latino Heritage Month from September to October. What September? Early September to late October? I'm not being disrespectful to any Latino people who like that. For me personally, being half Spanish, partially black, and maybe Native American, I take the stance of Morgan Freeman. Why do we need a day or a month? We've been here from the beginning. We don't need a day. We don't need a month. I'm like Morgan Freeman. I don't need a Black History Month. We're part of history. Latin American Month. We're part of history. I see it in both respects because I'm half and half, maybe. I know I must have some Native American blood. And being Puerto Rican, having Native American black blood, and suppose it might be Chinese too somewhere. I don't know. I don't look it. But anyway, that was part of it. And you see that El Idolo lost. Now the question is going to be, what now? I don't know. Let's move on. FTR versus the Workhorsemen, which was not a match at all. The Workhorsemen and FTR did not have a long match. It wasn't a bad match, but it was not meant to be an important thing. Yes, it had time. I want to make this clear. And I know someone's going to say, what do you mean the match was not important? It wasn't. It was not important. If you watch my videos, you know who you are. Listen to me and stop acting like you don't understand, because you do. FTR is about to go up against Aussie Open. This was about showing Aussie Open, who was at ringside at commentary wearing a black suits, that they are more important than anyone else. And the Workhorsemen were basically a footnote in FTR's rearview mirror, which they were. They beat them. Yes, Workhorsemen got a shot at the world titles. No problem. That's fine. But still, it was about FTR and Aussie Open, which is supposed to be, because they're a much more prominent tag team than the Workhorsemen, which are not bad either. I find the Workhorsemen have good ring work, and I haven't seen them talk much. They might be alright in the mic, but their ring work is not bad. But this was about Aussie Open, who got in the ring and made it very clear that this is about them. They're getting those damn titles back. Well, not getting their titles back, but they're getting those damn titles. Now, also, how can I say this? When you look at OGK, the Kingdom, saying they're coming after MJF and Adam Cole, I feel nothing. Not just because I don't see ROH, but because there's no build-up into it. They've been trying to promote Next Strong and Roderick Strong and his storyline. It's not been about them. And there's the problem. If they're the next challengers for the ROH tag titles, it don't feel like it because there's been no build for them. This has been about Roderick dealing with Adam. It's not been about the Kingdom dealing with Adam and dealing with MJF. It's been about Adam and Roderick. I don't feel anything. And I should, because Matt Taven is not that bad. Neither is Mike Bennett. I've never had a problem with either one of them. They seem to have personality. They can both go in the ring, but they've never gotten anywhere. They didn't get anywhere with Honor No More in Impact Wrestling. They should have gotten the damn titles. They never did. They had a 10-month run, and they could have held the titles once. Never did. Now they're here. And what are they going to do? They've had several matches on ROH that I did see, but still, they are still exactly as they were, nothing. And most people say, well, they are nothing. No, they got something. It's just that Tony's not booking them. I'm just saying. Anything else? Oh, yeah. I can't forget this one. Miro and CJ. CJ had an interview. She was talking about she's glad to be there, but she came because of her husband, because she wanted to help him. Miro shows up in her interview, and he makes it very clear that there are several temptations, and so did she. Talk about temptations. For Miro, his temptation was not the title or his God. It was his hot, flexible wife. Everyone wants that hot, flexible wife. And then what the hot, flexible wife's temptation is the spotlight. And Miro made it very clear. Your temptation is all of this. The stardom, the star power, the getting recognition. It changes you. And she says, I'm not changed. Do I need to be? I'm not changed. I'm still who I am. But he says, you will change. He said, you will change. But she says, do I need help? Because Miro did say he came to AEW to save everybody. But he said, with you here, I will have to, and he cuts himself off himself. And CJ says, what, you're going to save me? He says, yeah, I might. He says, do I need saving now? He says, no, but you might later. And he says, look. No, she says, look, you're on your path. Go on your path. I'm going to be on mine. But she made it very clear. While I'm on this path, please, if you love me at all, don't go after my clients and don't go after the people I'm going to manage. She made it very clear to him. And he did not sound happy. He thought maybe she'll just wrestle. No. She doesn't just want the stardom and the recognition as a wrestler, maybe because she will eventually wrestle. She wants to be a manager in this situation. Eventually, I do believe that she will get in the ring and wrestle. I'm telling you right now, guys. Whether you think CJ can wrestle or not is irrelevant. She's going to act like a manager, and eventually she will get in the ring. She will. That's a must. It will happen. There's no way no one's not going to see her in the damn ring wrestle, because she will. Now, the best match of the night. The Texas Death Match made it for me. And I will say it like that. That's probably what I'm going to use as my title. When you see this Texas Death Match, which is basically a last man standing match. They can't say it because WWE will start fucking with them if they did. So they had to say a Texas Death Match. Because if it was a real Texas Death Match, where was the glass? Where was the spikes? Where was all that garbage? It was like they did a standard falls count anywhere. Well, not falls count anywhere. Basically, last man standing. That's what it came down to. At the count of 10, you had to answer. And that's what we got. And at one point, I don't have the shot. I don't even know if I'm putting images in here. But at one point, in the very beginning, seeing Ricky Starks decide that when he hammered a Bryan Danielson into the air, over the guardrail, and into the fans, he decided to jump into the ring again. And then he decided to jump out of the ring, and land not only on Bryan Danielson, but into the fans. Now, as far as I can tell, those people who were in the first row, they were probably people that came from the Nightmare Factory, at least a few of them. And the rest were probably regular, ordinary citizens, civilians, as they say in the wrestling business, regular civilians, as I would say it. So it was a stunt. I don't believe he actually landed on real paying customers, but he came close to landing on some of them easily. And if they were, that was the most stupidest thing you can do in this day and age. It's not ECW, where it would be a little more lenient on people getting hurt. Because in this day and age, they'll sue your ass. I'm telling you right now, if that was a real thing, that was not a work, and there weren't people from the Nightmare Factory there, they were actual fans, all of them, I'm telling you right now, that's bad. You do not do that. People will get hurt. And if they get hurt, it's got to go to court. And if it goes to court, AEW and Tony will be liable for it. So I'm sure it had to be some of the people from the Nightmare Factory who were working in the back. They had to be there. But this is just me. That's what I believe. The match was fine. We got blood from Bryan Danielson. We got blood from Ricky Starks. It was a brutal match that had the chain again around the neck of both of them. Both passed out a couple of times. Eventually, Ricky was done. Once he got the Busaiku knee with the chain around Bryan Danielson's knee to the face. This is not the first time anyone has done it, and it won't be the last, but it was used to knock out Ricky and to show how tough he was. At one point, Ricky Starks literally spit in Bryan Danielson's face. I'm telling you, I've said this from the very beginning. If anybody remembers, when AEW brought in Ricky Starks, people said, oh, Ricky's nothing. This guy's just nothing here. What did I say? I knew from the beginning, watching him in NWA, Ricky Starks had something. I said that. I don't know about anyone else, but I might be one of the few who've seen him in NWA that he proved how good he was. And when he came to AEW, I knew he was going to get it done. I knew he was going to get it done. And look what he's done. They put him in these high profile positions. The question will be, will they finally pull a trigger and let him go after TNT? Or maybe the International Championship, particularly that Mox is concussed. And I will be talking about that in my roundup for the Gump Report tomorrow. If anybody asks, do you know about Moxley having concussion? I already know. I'm going to do a roundup about him. Gail Kim, who also is concussed. I'm going to check and see if there's new information. Maybe a little bit of Chelsea Green and her hematoma because she got one on the elbow. And a few other things. But this was a very good match. But if you take the match out, this was an average show that's building to a pay-per-view. But nothing about what comes after that much. Only a few things, and it doesn't really set up for the next couple of weeks for Collision, because Collision is still like this. They don't know exactly what they're doing. They're trying to go somewhere without CM Punk, and they're still like this. They don't really have a curriculum right now, or a schedule of what they want to do. They don't have the booking. So, this is going to be a long road if they can save Collision, because this might not end well for it. But it's just me. Peace.